Hey guys, welcome back. BJ the Brave here, and I wanted to bring you guys just some initial decks to kind of think about and to look at on the first day of the patch. Obviously today we've just had Gordrang's Gitstompas live, and yeah, everybody can now go ahead and either purchase the Orkz or kind of use the wild cards or kind of, however you want to go about collecting them, but basically the cards are available now, and I've already started making a whole shed load of decks. Obviously it hasn't been long, so none of these decks are super refined. I've certainly already got a few favourites that are working better than others, and I'm going to be doing a bit of streaming in and around this, but I just wanted to get something out so you can kind of like start to think about the new decks. Okay, so with that said, let's jump into a few of them. So the first one I want to look at is mob rules. So this is using the new Gordrang Warboss. Of course, if you don't know, he gives you +2 attack and concussive on the turn that you spend this. The huge chopper. Really cool ability. So what we're trying to do is, obviously, the advantage, other than the concussive, is to the melee bonus, right? So that to me immediately says that it helps us to trigger mob, right? Because mob only happens when we attack with melee. So what we're trying to do with this deck is like really maximize the use of mob. So we run like the Storm Boys, which again want to attack with their melee attack, but they're flying, so they can still deal with enemy flyers even though we're attacking with melee. So similarly, obviously you've got the veteran Storm Boys, so some good synergy there. We do run, in terms of the mob units, we run the Shooter Boy, we run the Scar Boys in the 4 slot, and then we've got things like Gazmate, who can obviously then make units cheaper. And then we run the new Boss Knobs, which I actually really enjoying this unit, by the way. I think this unit is very good. It's very good. Like, you're getting 6 health anyway for 5, and I've found it like not uncommon that this thing's giving this mob's triggering 3 times, which is insane value. So it's very good. So we run that, and then at the top end we've got Death Dread and Crumple Claw. You can drop Ardshell if you don't have Ardshell. I still think Ardshell's just like a S tier card, so I'm playing it. But you could drop that and you could put a second Death Dread or a second Crumple Claw in, depending on your kind of own play testing and stuff. But yeah, pretty straightforward. The rest of the deck is all about like buffing the boss himself. So obviously we run things like the Banner Knobs. We've got Makari and obviously the proper Killy, so we can do some insane finishes because of course we've got the Warbikers as well, and we don't leave home without Makari, as I said, that can buff both the Lord and the Warbikers, so we've still got really good range and finishes with this deck. So overall quite a fun deck, and really starting to see that mob special ability come into play here. I don't think it's been overly used in the past, but it's getting better for sure. Next up, I'm going to look at Pincer Maneuver, and if you watch the podcast, if you haven't, go back and watch the latest Forgecast podcast where we revealed all the cards, and the Ecclesiarch and I talked about this idea of basically trying to use your war bosses, I was going to say hero power again, but talent, trying to use their talent every turn, and basically just using as many flanking units as we can to kind of maintain the board. So we literally have all the flanking units in this deck, right? We got the double Warbiker, we've got the Orc Knob, we've got both Snazwagons, the 5-drop, we have got 2 Squig Buggies in the 6-drop, we've got 2 Storm Boys in the 6-drop. So we've got like all of the flankers that we can have essentially. You could even run the new what do you call it, Crumper Gits. We could even run that in here. Trying to think what I would drop. Maybe I'd drop Pyrotechnics if I was going to do that. Pyrotechnics has a similar role. Yeah, I'm not sure, but you could definitely try running one of those if you wanted. But basically what this gives you with the Pincer Maneuver is the ability to kind of stun your enemy Warlord and still go big and have like big range at the end of the game to close the game out, but also really good ability from hand to kind of deal with the board. So lots and lots of flankers. So that's the pincer maneuver deck. The third deck I wanted to look at is how the new Green Horde. So really looking at the new Green Horde complementary cards, so things like Crump de Gits, for example. And what you're trying to do in this, it's similar to how you've played it before, but you really want to be mulliganing very, very hard to get the Makari, obviously, but also the Green Horde itself, because we've got Grook, so Grook can draw into our troops, so we really want to be trying to get this in opening hand. I've kind of gone off this style of Orc play a little bit, because I kind of don't like that I kind of don't like that it's sort of like, if you've got it, you're going to probably win, and if you haven't, you haven't. So I kind of don't like that a little bit, but it's very, very powerful, there's no doubt in it. And even with the nerf to Green Horde, making it now 4 energy, this is a super fantastic deck. There's also some really good, slightly later game Green Horde synergy in here. We do run in here, for example, the new Stick Boy Bum. So, you know, even these guys coming on for 1 cost each, you know, for 1 cost to be able to come on with the Green Horde, maybe combining it with the Gits, or combining it with Orc Nob. There's just tons and tons of different power players in here, and again, Crumper Claw's actually fantastic because along with the kind of go wide strategy that you've got in this board, Crumper Claw then gives you a go tall finisher as well. So yeah, this is if you're looking for Green Horde, definitely recommend that. And then one of the other decks I wanted to take a look at, which is one that I am very much enjoying and is one I'm going to develop quite a bit, is this one here. Yeah, so this is the Deep Control. So what I've essentially done here is taken my friend Alski, we've both ran, as you know, kind of like a Grook control deck with some success. And what I've done here is I've kind of looked at what does that shell look like, but with the new cards. And so what essentially it's done is we've given up a little bit of kind of reach, if you like. You'll notice there's no proper killers in here, for example. But what I'm doing is controlling through the board state a little bit better. So we're not just relying on flankers. And this is the deck where, for example, the Boss Knobbers really, really shine in. And we also make use of the new armor, Grizzled Scarboy, in there as well. So we've got that. We've only got 1 Iron God because we do run 2 of those, and we still run 2 Adsnell. So we've got loads and loads of heal in this deck. Of course, we still got all the hard removal, effective flankers, and we still have the Green Horde synergies. Yes, it is slightly more expensive, obviously, now with the nerf to Green Horde, but it's still as powerful, really, as ever. So this is if you're looking for that kind of more traditional shell, but with a bit of spice with some of the new cards, this deck is very good, I think, and it's been working quite well for me as well. And then obviously had a little look at kind of like the tank synergy as well. So this is definitely not refined, but I think with the tanks you can basically play Grook to kind of draw them, or you can play Gordrang to kind of like stun and help your trucks to survive a little bit longer. I think that's pretty good. But I also kind of like quite like Gazgul as well here, just because him coming with that big beefy body of 40 health. What we're basically trying to do here is make use of like Dead Choppy. So there's a few builds that I've made where we are kind of really loading up on the vehicles, and then we're looking at big finishes like Crumper Claw into Dead Choppy. It's just insane, basically. It's just like game over. We even run a few nice little tactics in here, in that we've got the Orc encampment, so we can kind of give camouflage to a big unit, or we can give armor if we go wide. For example, you play like 2 double Deathcopters out and give them armor. It's quite nice. Cloud of Smoke has got enough vehicles in this deck as well to really. I think this is a great card, but you've just got to make sure you've got enough vehicles for it to be worth it. So I like to run a one-off Cloud of Smoke in there as well. So yeah, that is there's the tank version, and I've also built a slightly less all-in tank version, but I call this Dead Choppy, and this is a pretty good deck as well. This is Gordrang, and what this is doing is it's not an all-out tank synergy, but what we are looking for is the dead choppy finisher still. So in order to do that, we do run double killer clans, and we do killer cans even, and the double crumper claws still. And because we've got Gazmech, the chances are we can try to get those guys discounted, but this deck still has hard removal, and it still has a really good reach with Gordrang as well. So this deck is like a really good reach deck basically, because like the other Gordrang decks I showed you earlier, where I said we've got this huge reach, right, with Makari combining with Proper Killy, combining with the Gordrang's ability, and what we've also got in this particular deck is, as I say, that combined with the dead choppy with the tank. So there's kind of like a double whammy of reach. So if you, depending on what you draw, because this guy doesn't have any card draw, but I think with this having a kind of like 2 roots of big win conditions, I think it makes it quite consistent. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this dead choppy build. So there you go, guys. There's 5 decks I think I've just covered that you can start to have a look at and get familiar with, and keep following on the channel. I plan to obviously play these games out. I'll be releasing some guides with gameplay, and I'm also going to be streaming a lot too. So I hope you like that. Like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Enjoy the expansion.